Okay, I'd like to start out by welcoming everybody to Oh the Places You Go 2015. This is a traditional event that we've done now for at least 4 years that I know of, because it's 4 years that I've been involved in it. The intent of tonight is to give people the opportunity to talk about their experiences at Oyster River High School and their plans for after high school. I want to share a little bit of information about past classes. Obviously, you guys all reflect the class of 2015, so officially you haven't graduated yet, so you haven't officially made the choices. However, I want to share some statistics about what our graduates typically do post-high school. So taking a look at the choices our kids have made over the last 6 years, you can see that 70 to 75% of our kids typically choose a four-year college to go to. Somewhere between 10 to 15% choose a 1, 2, or 3-year college to go to. 10 to 15% typically choose a work or military alternative. And one of the choices that's sort of growing in steam and has started to show up statistically is the concept of a gap year. More and more of our kids, I think, are starting to look at gap years as a possible option, doing something other than going to school for a year before they make a decision about what they're going to do next. Fortunately, kids in our community have that as an option that they can look at. One of the things that we often hear about, too, is like, what are the schools that our graduates get into? We'll take a look at that. Now, I know you can't read it. Now, that's a lot of colleges, isn't it? A lot of colleges. Well, that's not even half, because there's another page of all the colleges. Our students over the last 3 years have gotten into more than 600 different colleges and universities across the country, ranging from local schools such as UNH and Great Bay Community College to national schools like Stanford, University of Washington, Purdue, Harvard, Yale, MIT. So we've certainly had a lot of our students get into a lot of different places, but certainly looking visually at the range of places that our kids have gotten into, it's quite impressive. We average graduating about 160 kids, and typically any graduating class gets accepted to around 400 different places. So the average kid is getting 2 or 3 different options to choose from when they finish. So anyway, that's sort of some statistical data on where we're at. Tonight we have a group of 11 soon-to-be graduates of Oyster River High School from the class of 2015 who have very kindly volunteered to come in and share their experiences with us. And I'm going to start out by just going down the panel and asking each of you to introduce yourself and just tell a little bit about your experience here at Oyster River High School. You want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. My name is Megan Neal, and I've been very heavily involved in the music program. I also really enjoy languages, and I've also done some things with the acting department too.
My name is Emily Halstead, and I've spent a lot of my time here in community service. I am the coordinator of our 5th grade mentoring program, and I do things like Relay for Life and Interact Club as well. I also have been heavily involved in sports, which has been a great way to grow over the years.
Hi, my name's Jeremy Howland. I'm a big runner here. I've done 12 seasons of running. I'm a big science nerd here. I've done 3 APs now, and now I TA now for the bio department.
My name's Sophie Webb. I also run. I've run cross country 4 years and track a bunch of years. I'm also interested, I've been doing community service here. I was coordinator for Visit the Elderly for a couple years, and I'm on the Sustainability Club, which started last year, so that's been a really great experience here as well.
My name is Alex Morrell, and I am very heavily involved in the math and science departments of the school. I also have been 3-season athlete, whether that's club or sports here in the school, all 4 years of high school. So, yeah.
I'm Marissa Flynn, and I'm also a 12-season athlete. I'm also involved in the Sustainability Club and all of our efforts to make our school a more sustainable place. And I just I have a lot of different passions, so I like to take part in those.
Hi, my name's Abby Limerick. Like Marissa, I have a lot of different things that I'm involved with. I'm the class treasurer. I'm on the math team. I play tennis with Emily. What else do I do? I'm on Relay for Life. I think that, oh, and I'm one of the editors for the Lit Mag. So I have a lot of different passions that I like to pursue.
What do you do in your spare time?
Not a whole lot of spare time.
I'm Emily, Emily Group. I'm a 12-season athlete. I've written a novel. I helped start the school book club. And I've been an officer of Spanish Club all 4 years. I'm the president now. And I really like TED Talks.
I'm Anna Posset. This is actually my second year here at Oyster River. Before that, I went to school in Germany and also to a boarding school. I really like math and science, and I play field hockey.
My name is Alex Hiltunen. During the past 3 years, I've been heavily involved with junior ROTC, which is essentially a military class that we have been taking at Dover. I've used it a lot to, develop leadership skills. It's been pretty valuable to me, and right now I'm a staff member.
I'm Sarah Mayer, and I also like math and science. I TA'd in a chemistry class last semester, and I've also played softball while I've been here.
Thank you. And obviously, we've got a chance to learn a little bit about each of you and your experiences here. The real meat of the evening is to kind of look at the choices you're about to make, because obviously you're all going to graduate from here and hopefully on June 12th if the weather cooperates.
Don't jinx it.
I don't want to. It's true. I've had some pretty questionable luck with that in recent years. So now I'd kind of like to go down the line and kind of hear what the decisions you have made for post-high school. If you could, just talk a little bit about, the choice you made and kind of why you made that choice, and what were some of the experiences that you may have had that brought you there. Now, we went down the line systematically this last time. Does anybody want to volunteer to be first on question number 2?
So I'm going to Bryn Mawr College next year, which is like a 20-minute train ride outside of Philadelphia. The reason I chose Bryn Mawr, well, there was a lot of reasons. I ended up applying early decision 2 there. I chose it because when I went there, I really liked the sense of community, and that was my most important factor when I was looking for a college, because mainly through my experiences at Oyster River and especially on the cross-country team, having a strong sense of community is something that's really, really important to me, and I wanted to go somewhere where I would be valued as an individual and where I would feel accepted. And there was lots of different unique people who all kind of come together to form this amazing community, and I've definitely had that here at Oyster River and in cross country, and I think that's going to continue to be a part of my life at Bryn Mawr. So,
how big of a school is Bryn Mawr?
It's like 1,300, so it's pretty small.
So what will you be studying?
I'm not sure yet. I really want to do something with human rights or peace studies, maybe international relations, something like where I can make a change, something like that.
Nice. Alex?
Okay, so in contrast to Sophie, I'm going to a school with 30,000 people. I am in the Honors College, and I am a nursing major at West Virginia University in Morgantown, West Virginia. It's about an hour south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When I went there, it has huge athletic pride. Everyone is wearing athletic gear. It's very everyone goes to the games. When the football field is packed, it is the most populated area in West Virginia as a state. The town itself is a lot like North Conway, New Hampshire, where it's rolling hills right in the valley. I haven't committed, but I am definitely heavily considering the rowing program. It's a Division I college. I've been rowing all 4 years of my high school here at Oyster River, and I'm excited to continue on a path at a school with a very, very strong medical program, which West Virginia has. So
what drew you to West Virginia? Is there a connection, a family connection? Is it just you researched good schools, or what was the...
Sure. So they have a very, very strong medical program. As a sophomore in high school, I got my nursing assistant license, and I've been working in a rehab facility all throughout my senior year of high school. And I realized that I really wanted a college where I could pursue nursing but have the communication with all the other therapies and the med students, and I think that's a really important part of successful nursing. So looking at West Virginia, they have a level 1 trauma center, they have a whole medical school, they have one of the best simulation labs in the nation. So just, you know, looking at all the different areas in the medical field that they offered comes together to a really, really strong program.
All right. Okay. I'm going to Union, which is in New York. It's pretty close to Albany. I got into their scholars program, and I plan to double major in environmental policy and English with a concentration in law. I really like to argue, and I really found my passion for that in debate, which was one of the most fantastic classes I have ever taken. Highly recommend it to anybody. And I also really like environmental policy, and sort of because that sort of feeds into law. And I'm taking AP Environmental now, and that was just sort of spurred on by my biology teacher, who I still sort of talk to like about the environment during office hours. It's really fun. It's really great how like people are willing to put up with me during their free time to talk about something I'm really passionate about. So it's sort of.
So are you then planning to go to, it sounds like law school is probably in your future? Is that kind of where you're thinking right now?
Yeah.
I'll go. So I actually deferred my admission to University of Vermont in favor of a gap year. So come September, I'll be taking a 3-month trip to Asia, to Nepal, India, and then Thailand. And I really kind of chose to do a gap year. I was encouraged by a bunch of people because really to take this chance where we don't have a lot in life, where we can just go out and do whatever we want with no strings attached. So.
Now, what drew you to choose the area of the world that you're traveling to? I mean, Nepal in particular is obviously dealing with some real serious issues right now.
Well, I didn't go in expecting that, but I've always liked Asia. I've been before, and I just kind of want to see a different whole perspective, because obviously Asia is very different than our Western ideals, so kind of see some different perspective.
Now you said it's 3 months that you're going to be in Asia? So
Start September, come back December.
So is it roughly equal amount of time in each country, or?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. I'm guessing you'll do some hiking and maybe.
Yes, I'll be hiking the Himalayas. So.
There's a big mountain over there, isn't there?
Yeah, big one there. Forget its name.
So I have been accepted to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and this has been my dream school since I was in 8th grade. One of my music teacher, Mr. Irvin, he works at the middle school, and he was a student there. He was there on full scholarship. He's a trombone player, and he got his master's degree there as well. I will be going in the same field as he is, so a music education major. And Boston, it's a city. It's actually, I liked it a lot because it is a city, and it's far different from Durham, where the only similarities I feel between Boston and Durham is the college students. So there won't be too much difference in that. But I don't know why I'm so attracted to the idea of a city, I guess. But I guess it's very populated, it's very social, and more importantly, it's very art heavy, and it has a lot of focus. So I think that's the main reason why I chose it.
Now, you said you're going into music education, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming you're also going to be pursuing some performance as well? Or?
I have definitely considered double majoring, but I recently took, or I shouldn't say recently, last summer I took a workshop. It was only during a weekend, probably about 3-4 days, and it was focused on performance. And although it was very short, it was also very, you had to be very committed and very focused. So to expand that kind of program, for a duration of an entire college year, how committed and focused could I be in that kind of environment? So if I were to double major, I'd actually desired to work with writing music, particularly film scores. I don't know if any of you are familiar with like Howard Shore. He did like The Hobbit. Michael Giacchino, he did like Up or Ratatouille, things like that. John Williams, Harry Potter. So, things like that.
That's pretty cool. Thank you, Megan. Why don't we work our way down the line since... Emily,
I'm going to Smith College next year in Northampton, Massachusetts. I plan on majoring in neuroscience with a minor in data science. One thing that really drew me to Smith was their open curriculum, meaning that we have no general education requirements. So right when we get there, we can choose every single class we want to take all 4 years. And that definitely came from Oyster River a lot because it's kind of the same. We have so many opportunities to just follow whatever passions we have. And I think that that's going to be a really great thing to have next year.
That's actually something I've heard a number of years seniors often talk about is when they go out looking for a college, they're looking for an environment similar to the choice type environment we have here. Kind of work. Who is this? Marissa, you want next?
So I actually made a shockingly similar decision to the one that Jeremy made, which is kind of weird. But so I'm also going to UVM, and I am currently in the process of convincing my mom to let me take a gap year, which she's not really fond of, but I want to defer. I've had the volunteer bug for my entire life. That's really all that I want to do with my life. Like, if I were to choose a life, I would say I don't want to be paid for anything. I just want to go out there, put myself out there, and help whenever I can. That's kind of always been what I'm after, so that's what I want to do next year. I talked to my mom about doing a relief program in Nepal, and she, very similar, and she's actually really liking the idea because she knows now that I kind of like have like not really a plan in place, but at least a solid something that I want to be doing. So that's pretty exciting. So, but I still have a lot to straighten out. I don't know what my major is going to be yet. I really like environmental studies and anthropology. And I don't know yet whether I'm going to be playing sports. So it's all up in the air. I kind of waited until the very last minute to make up my mind because I've been kind of holding on to high school, but it's time to let that go.
Now, what kinds of community service type experiences have you engaged in here? I mean, that led you to want to? It sounds like a whole life of service. That's pretty. So
I actually haven't done much community service. Like I guess considering where I'm going with this, but I've been part of NHS, and so I volunteer basically whenever I can, and I've just found out that I really enjoy like helping, especially people who need help. So I always, I've basically devoted my entire life to helping my grandparents who live next door and just kind of making sure that they're okay and stuff like that. And so I do a lot.
All right. So like Megan, I knew I really wanted to go to Boston. Didn't know what school, but I really wanted to go to Boston. I loved growing up in Madbury and going to Oyster River and having that small, tight-knit community feel. But I was really ready to move on to like this big urban setting, and I loved like the arts and the historical feel of the city. But I didn't know where I wanted to go, so I applied to a bunch of schools in the area, and ended up at BU, and I'm really excited. So it'll be a big change. I think it's 16,000 undergrads, so it's a big school. So it'll be a big change, but I'm really excited. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like going in freshman year, I really had no idea of what like a potential major I would want. Like I have a lot of different varied interests, but I think the teachers at Oyster River have really helped me find a path that I really enjoy. Freshman year bio, I really liked the class, and then I ended up my junior year in AP bio because I wanted to take AP physics, but it didn't work in my schedule. So I took AP bio, and I really, really liked it. So I had liked bio in the past, but then I really found a passion for it in my AP class. So I definitely knew I wanted to pursue that. And then I actually I ended up taking AP bio because I wanted to take American Studies with Mr. Hawley. And I really liked all of Mr. Hawley's classes. I had him for World Cultures, and then American Studies, and then I had him for Advanced Topics this year. And I realized that I really liked him as a person and a teacher, and I loved his teaching style, and that ultimately led me to realize that I wanted to incorporate anthropology into my college education as well. So I think I'm going to double major in biology and biological anthropology.
Awesome. Now, you said Boston was appealing to you. Did you apply to other schools in the Boston area too, or?
Yeah, I applied to Boston College, which is very different from BU. They're huge rivals, so people get really mad when you mix them up. And then I applied to Tufts and Northeastern, and I ended up getting deferred from all of them, and then I'm on the BC waiting list. But yeah, so it was a rough application process. BU, and it was one of my target schools, and it was like, and then I applied to a bunch of schools in upstate New York, like Union and St. Lawrence, and then my safety school is Stonehill. So, but as soon as I knew I got into BU, it was a really rough process because I was just really sick of getting deferred over and over and over again.
Well, you picked some prestigious, high.
Yeah, they were regions. So I knew what I was getting into. But so like when I got the acceptance into BU, like I was with all my friends and it was like an email and I was about to leave like the sleepover with all my best friends and I got the email and it was so exciting. I just like cried. And it was just like I knew right then that that's where I was going to go and super psyched now.
I'll be going to college in Germany actually. And we don't apply until June, and the application process ends in July. So I'm not sure where in Germany yet or what college exactly. But I'm planning on going into pharmacy, so that's the goal. And I kind of decided to go in Germany because my entire extended family lives there. So being here for the past 3 years was always kind of hard not seeing them, and only getting to see them once a year. So I also live there, so I really like living there. So that's why I'll be going there. And I'll apply in June and then see where I go.
Obviously we talk about four-year colleges, but I know the structure of things is a little different. Would you be going to a four-year program, or what would be the program you would be going into?
The program I'm planning on going to is a 4-year program.
Okay.
So it depends on how you take your classes and how much time you want to take. But I definitely plan on taking 4 years for my pharmacy degree. And then you have internships after that and during the whole 4 years. So.
Now, how do schools in Germany view an Oyster River education? Did you get the sense that it helped, or was it something that they were not clear on? Did you have to provide them more information, or?
Yeah, it's really complicated actually. I had to take 5 AP exams and get at least 3 on all of them. And it had to be different categories, so I'm taking AP was history, and then a science, which was chemistry, and then a language, so I took the German one, and then all that stuff. So it's kind of complicated, and then you have to, I have to get I have to get it recognized this summer too. So I have to send all my scores and send my grades for the past 4 years, and then I'll get my high school diploma from Germany, and with that I can apply to the colleges there.
Interesting. That's cool. Alex.
All right, so after high school, I'm joining the United States Marine Corps, which for you who don't know, it's a branch of the military. I made the decision when I was a sophomore. When I was a freshman, I really didn't have any direction. I know I wanted to do, or the basis of it at least. I wanted to do something with my life that would be, I guess, fulfilling. And when I was a freshman, my friends started telling me about ROTC, and I got into that thinking that I'd be able to change myself, or seek self-improvement, which I eventually got. It wasn't really until my junior year that I decided I was going to join the Marines specifically. That was actually the year I met my recruiter, Sergeant Colson, who is very good at his job. So it was April of junior year that I started going to PT functions at the recruiting office, challenging myself physically and mentally. It's been a fun time. And I enlisted in the delayed entry program June of last year. As of right now, I've been doing PT once a week at the office. Pretty much for the last 11 months. And I'm preparing to ship out on June 22nd. So about 10 days after we graduate.
Why the Marines in particular?
It's a really professional organization. I mean, a lot of it is that my recruiter found me first and made the biggest impact. I thought he was a really inspirational person with his speeches. He's a pretty amazing person. Also, I guess something about it just stood out. There was something about it that I liked. I don't know what that is, but it's just there.
Well, there is a tremendous sense of pride from everybody who's in the Marine Corps. I mean, it's almost a way of life. You meet people who are former Marines, and they still very much are Marines.
Right, it's a brotherhood.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's just speaking. I mean, obviously, I've known you for quite a few years, Alex. I know it was absolutely. There was a point in your life where you made some very clear decisions, and you are a far more, mature and focused person than I remember. You know, particularly back in middle school, and I do think the military really played a big role in helping you get there.
It did.
It's a great choice on your part.
I'm planning to go to Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland next year, and majoring in biomedical engineering. And I came down to May 1st to decide where to go. I hadn't visited Case until, I think, April 29th. My dad went there.
Made this decision 10 days.
My dad went there for grad school, but I hadn't been there to visit. And I think I chose it for two reasons, two main reasons. Cleveland has a really strong medical community, and so when I do biomedical, have research opportunities outside of the university. And like Sophie said, I really want a sense of community and collaboration, people working together, which happens here too.
Yeah. And you said that's where your dad went?
He went there for grad school.
Oh, okay. Are you, as being somebody who's interested in the medical field, you must be thinking a few steps down the road too in terms of potential graduate school, that kind of thing? Is that in your thinking yet, or are you still?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking engineering, so you can do some things with a bachelor degree, but maybe a master's or a PhD. So.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more question, then I'm gonna turn it over to the audience if anybody has any questions. I actually would be curious just to hear, think back on your 4 years here at Oyster River High School. What are some of the classes or experiences you've had here that really stand out in your mind as being kind of formative to you as a student? Kind of really showed you something about yourself or helped you discover something about yourself?
Wow, well, for this past week or maybe 2 or 3 or 4, I've been actually thinking about the past 4 years, and it gets a little scarier every time I think about it. You realize we have less than 4 weeks before we graduate, guys, right? That's just I just want to put that out there. And I'm sitting, in the music room, my natural habitat, right? And I'm literally just watching images of 4 years ago, which when you say it alone, it doesn't really sound that long. But when you really put it in perspective, it's wow, that's that is kind of a long time ago. And I don't know, it's hard to imagine. You think to yourself oh my God, do you remember when that upperclassman was here, in this very room with you? And it's oh my God. I mean, you just can't think beyond that because it's just so appalling. And I mean, I can't say there are any classes that have impacted me more than others. They are influential, but I do not believe that there is one that is more significant than the other, which I think is mostly due to the opportunities that we have because there are so many selections open to us. But there have definitely been, people and friends and teachers who will always have, a place with me because of the experiences that I've had with them. People who have graduated, teachers who still continue to teach, and friends who will be I'll be in Massachusetts, someone else will be in New York, and I'm looking on Google Maps, okay, here's the directions, you got to save this to your computer so that we always remember where, how to get to one another. I mean, it's just it's just
This year I took AP Statistics, which I wasn't really sure about going into. I'd never been great at math, although I did follow an accelerated track my years through high school, so everything was always a little bit harder anyway. And I just remember getting my first test back, and I got a 100, and I was like, I haven't gotten a 100 on a math test since 8th grade, so it was a pretty great feeling, and everything has just clicked so well since then, and it's really nice to be really confident in something, which is kind of where I got data sciences from. And then for neuroscience, I chose that I took psychology at the high school my junior year with Mr. Miraz Through the CATS program at UNH, I took psychobiology, which I just finished up last week, which was also a really great experience that the school provided me. But that really showed me my passion for neuroscience. So yeah.
I think one of the great things about Oyster River is, if not all the teachers, most of the teachers here care about their job and they're willing to be mentors for you. So you can go really to any department and find someone who's willing to help you and get whatever you want. One of my favorite teachers here, Mr. Zottely, was actually one of the main contributors to making me decide to make a gap year. And it just shows that these people are trying to help you succeed. They're trying to help you get somewhere in life after high school.
I don't even really know where to start because I owe a lot of who I am to Oyster River and cross country. I'll just say, I'll talk a little bit about cross country. That's, yeah, and it's a great team. I never had any sisters, but now I have like 50 because of all the different teams I've been part of. And I just, so much of like what I'm passionate about and what I care about has come from, you know, running and the woods and the mud and just working together and like being so proud to put on my Oyster River jersey. I love to tell people I go to Oyster River because I'm just so proud of it because I love our school. Like when I talk to my cousin who lives in like Minnesota, I'm like, so what are you taking for English? She's like, oh, English 10. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like I'm taking debate and American Lit or Women's Lit, like all these amazing classes. And I think Oyster River has really helped me realize that there's so much out there. Like before, my whole life, I've always wanted to be a second grade teacher. And both my parents are teachers, and I think I still see that in my future somewhere. But I don't know, just over the last couple of years, especially in high school, I've realized that there is lots of other things out there as well. Not that there's anything wrong with being a teacher, because I think it's a great job, and obviously I have a lot of respect for my parents and all of the teachers I've had. But I've just really come to realize that there's so many other things I should definitely take the time to explore. And I think the freedom here at Oyster River, just to like go and ask, kind of like what Jeremy was saying, you can ask any teacher anything and they'll be happy to answer it for you. I think too there's been a couple of teachers who have made an especially important impact on me. Miss Rayford, who I have sociology and philosophy with this year, she's just one of the kindest people, and she's so dedicated to her job, and I don't know, her enthusiasm for what she's teaching us really rubs off. And Mr. Hawley, Abby mentioned, I've taken a couple classes with him, and I don't know, just the passion really shows you that you can find something you're going to love to do. So, I don't know, there's so much about Oyster River that I love. So that's just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't really know where to begin. When I had always been thinking about the medical field. I think that Mrs. Healy's job shadow program that she makes you do in economics at first can be a little scary because, oh boy, where do you begin? You're junior, senior in high school, and you have to put yourself in the world and seek a job to go shadow for a whole day. I actually took economics as a sophomore just because I had it in my schedule, and my guidance counselor saw that, she thought I could do it and be okay in it, which is another great thing. There's so much flexibility in Oyster River. They really tailor to what you need. And I did a job shadow at Frisbee Memorial, and the nurses there were phenomenal. I got into the operating room, I got into the ICU, I got into delivery, I got everywhere in this one day, and it was the most exhausting 12-hour shift of my life, but it really solidified what I wanted to do. And then going forward from there, everything tied in. Psychology with Mr. Muraz, phenomenal class. I could see where it would tie into my nursing career. All the AP maths and sciences I've taken, anatomy this year with Miss Best has been phenomenal. Every day I go in, learn something new, get so excited for where I can apply it in life as a pediatric nurse. And I believe that Oyster River also has very, very strong, they make it very easy to get a lot of college credits in high school. I could, if I wanted to, probably graduate a semester early from college just because I have over 12 credits from the CATS program from UNH, from taking classes that Great Bay has partnered with, taking classes that I get AP credit for, and taking classes at Southern New Hampshire has given credits for. And I think all of that together has created just an incredible opportunity for students who maybe, either don't want to spend so much time in college or, would rather not spend the extra money, which is an incredible amount of money, if they can with whatever major they're in.
You said you've taken 12 credits over the course of your time here? That's pretty impressive.
I think 12 or 15, yeah. I've taken 1 CATS, 3 Great Bay, 2 AP, 3 APs, and an SNHU.
Wow.
So I think they provide a lot of opportunity to get a really, really great head start and prepare you for what it's like in college. So,
yeah, and like you say, that's an entire semester.
yeah, I'm not sure in the field I'm going into. I don't think I can do that, but right.
But still,
And just, yeah, it's phenomenal.
So I came here as a freshman kind of being that like twirly kid who's kind of like random and just kind of like really like happy, but just really just random. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like I was just this person who was kind of like, oh, I enjoy this and I like that too. And I was just kind of a squirrel. And then and so then I kind of got to a point where I was like, not only do I have like strong passions and things, but I kind of like narrowed it down to like just a couple things that I like really, really, really enjoyed that I figured like I wanted to spend the rest of my life in. So Mr. Pappas doesn't know this, but he kind of sparked my interest in anthropology as a freshman. And like I kind of hadn't like even made that decision freshman year. I was kind of like, oh, well, I really enjoy this, and also I like to read National Geographic magazine, and I just kind of like, I loved that class, and him as a person, it just made me so much more like, I don't know, it made me just want to do it so much more. So that was really cool. And then for environmental studies, I don't even think that I was into environmental studies at all really until last year. I went through bio and now I'm in environmental science just because of the passion, but it actually started out as just a random, like I was after school one day and I was just bored, and Sophie was like, hey, like I'm in sustainability club, want to come gardening with us? And me being that squirrely kid was kind of just like, absolutely, I will do anything. And so I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then eventually, I kept going week after week, and I was like, man, like this is the most amazing thing I have ever had to do with my time. Like I really want to do this in the future. Another thing, the teachers have really pulled me a long way because, I mean, like I said, freshman year, just kind of a random kid doing random things. And I found myself earlier this year, this is kind of weird to say, but I was moved to tears at how amazing my teachers were. And I was sitting at home and I just kind of started to cry because I was like, my God, like I have the most amazing people in my life right now and the most amazing teachers, and look at what they're teaching me. And if I get the opportunity to do something like this, to change someone's life the way that my teachers changed mine, what an amazing thing. And so I actually thought about, like, I was like, hey, maybe I should become a high school teacher. Like, I was like, maybe I should go back to ORHS and, like, teach high school there. I was like, I really love this place. And so, like, I definitely thought about that, but that was kind of like a 2-month, like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. So I don't know. I'm still, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's just a, Also Mr. Zottely, I just want to, like, say, Mr. Zottely, also pulled me towards a gap year. Know where that decision came from.
He's the gap year guy.
He's the gap year guy. But he also helped me personally when I wasn't feeling like I could really move on well in the future. I was kind of feeling down about like where I was going, what I was doing, because I was just so confused. And he just clarified everything for me. He noticed when I was kind of feeling not okay, when none of my friends even could, and so I just want to like pay that respect to him.
That's nice.
All right, I kind of talked about this already, but I think, like other people have said, I think we just have some really great teachers that really care about you personally. I know that freshman year, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like, I really liked English. I don't think I'll do anything with English in the future now. Like, I've just changed a lot as a person over my years at Oyster River.
English is still an important language.
It is. It's pretty good. I like it. You know, I thought like that's what I wanted to do when I was like in 8th grade, going to high school. Like, I think I'm going to be an English major and I'll read books all the time. And I still love to do that. And it's definitely one of my passions. I took a class at UNH last semester through the CATS program. It was a Brit Lit class. And that was a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll get credit for that next year so I can get a head start with all of my gen eds. But, so I think Mr. Holly was one of the people that really shaped me a lot as a person. Freshman year, I was like really unsure of myself, self-conscious, and he really made me feel like I was a person with a lot of potential and a great student, and like builds up that self-confidence that really got me through the rest of high school. And I think the teachers here have a lot of great passions. Like, I knew I liked biology, ended up in AP Bio kind of as a fluke, and I loved it. And Mr. Oxnard is really passionate about biology, so I kind of fed off of that and realized that's really what I want to do. Going back to Mr. Holly, it was his project, our final in advanced topics. We did a colloquium, and it was really overwhelming. And it's kind of ironic. I was looking through, like, I had no idea what topic to do. I ended up going through Boston universities before I even really wanted to go to BU. I was looking I was applying there, but it was like my number 4 choice. And I was like, oh, let's see what they have for anthropology classes. I was going through like all these different course schedules to pick a topic. I didn't know where to start. And I stumbled across their biological anthropology department, and I was looking through the course descriptions, and I saw it was a course on human origins and like the study of primates in relation to human beings. And I don't know, it like sparked this thing where I was like, this is what I want to do. This is it. This is like so interesting to me. So I think what Oyster River gives you is the opportunity to discover things that you never even knew you could love. So I'm really grateful for that. And there's other teachers that I've had that I'm not going into that subject, but have been really influential. I had Miss Ingstrom freshman year, and she was a really great English teacher, helped me develop my writing skills a lot. And then I had Miss Rayford, and I had her last semester, sorry. And I never had her before. I had her for sociology, and she was just so amazing. She's just a great person, great teacher, very human and relatable, and helped me a lot with getting through senior year. So yeah, we have just a great community and great teachers, and I owe a lot to them.
Okay. So we won't talk about freshman year because that was really weird. But like sophomore year, I was in SIDED, and that was the election year. And so I was the presidential candidate, and I got to make a ton of speeches, and I got to be really loud and really argumentative, which was super fantastic. And that sort of also inspired me to take AP Government and AP US History. I ended up taking AP US History in my junior year, which has actually also helped like other juniors give them the opportunity to take APUSH junior year, which I'm so happy about, and I'm glad like we can sort of like offer more opportunities younger, and it's just really fantastic. Junior year, debate ended up changing my life completely because I had no idea what I wanted to do, and then I ended up getting into debate on a fluke also, and like I walked in, and I love arguing. I love just like pulling facts and random information out of the air and just putting it together. And especially it's also great because you're on a team of kids who you have to try and present and sort of beat the other side. So I'm also really competitive, and I really and it was one of the most fantastic classes. I owe so much to Miss Sullivan, and I'm also in senior SEM right now. which has also sort of impacted my decision. I knew I wanted to go into the environment because I've always been sort of an enviro geek, even though couldn't get involved in the sustainability club just because I have a lot of other stuff going on. But this year for advanced writing and senior sem, it's just been the most amazing year of English. Like all my junior friends who are taking advanced writing and senior sem, I'm like, prepare for the best year of English of your life, just so you know. And I owe a lot to them. And this year I ended up pursuing an internship at the library, which I'm super happy we offer internship and sort of like live job experience. That's where I sort of got my start to write my novel, which was really exciting and really fun. And Miss Pierce and Miss Moore have been super supportive and wonderful people, just trying to like help me move on with my life and actually get out there into the world because it's a big, scary place.
Before I came to Oyster River, I never really had a choice of picking my classes. So when I came here and had to like make my schedule, I wanted to fill it with all these different classes that I was so excited about taking, which I couldn't take all because I had a lot of required courses and like a limited number of classes I could take each year. But I just really liked having a choice of taking so many different classes. And like English, I took mythology, which I probably wouldn't have been able to take if I hadn't come to Oyster River. And then also like having the opportunity to meet all these different teachers and all these like different varieties of classes I really like. And also having the opportunity to take AP Chemistry, which is also a lot to do with pharmacy, which I'm going to do next year, was really nice and helped kind of getting to know the pharmacy more before I take it or before I go into it.
You said you've taken 5 AP exams, right?
I took 6.
6.
Or I'm taking one on Wednesday, but I've taken 5 so far.
Okay, so how many AP courses did you take senior year?
Well, I took 3 courses and then I took the English literature one. So I took American Lit and English Lit, or Brit Lit and Shakespeare to prepare for that. Yeah.
All right, I don't think I have that much to say. The first, which has been mentioned a lot, is since I started going to Oyster River, I really like the teachers here. They're, especially Miss Rayford, she's one good example. She helps me a lot along the class. She helped me a lot in the classes that I took with her, which would be philosophy and world cultures. There were some cases she extended release dates to fit my schedule, and I appreciate that a lot, as well as being supportive of essentially all the topics I chose for our classes. And yeah, I do appreciate the staff here a lot.
You really reflect, our kids have the opportunity to take courses at Career Tech Center.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring that up next.
That
Yeah.
really made an impact on you, right?
All right. Yeah, the Career Tech Center too, which is essentially career-related classes like, as I mentioned, ROTC or electrical classes. Those definitely made a huge change in my life. Like, if I did not start taking ROTC, if my friends hadn't dragged me into that, I would be an entirely different person. I mean, I know I'm usually really silent, but just when I'm around the cadets and everyone else, it's just the crowd that I'm around, I act a lot differently. And in ROTC, that's allowed me to essentially change myself a good bit. And that's exactly what I was looking for. It's helped me so much.
I do think that the access to the Career Tech Center is something that's often overlooked by most River graduates. And it's great to hear somebody who really took advantage of it to really get something positive out of it.
Yeah.
Coming into high school, I've always been interested in math and science, and the classes here, I took AP Physics junior year, and thinking, okay, well, I like physics, maybe engineering, or like anatomy, like kind of like medical stuff. So thinking about that has kind of helped me shape like what I want to do. I think more than that, I chose the school I'm going to because it's not a tech school even though it has engineering. So I can take like humanities classes, and that started here, where it's kind of easy to stick with like what you like, what you're good at. But like taking English classes or sociology or advanced writing or pottery, and exploring other things that like maybe you didn't necessarily think you'd like, but you did once you started it.
Sarah. Okay, now we are getting close for time here, but I do want to give an opportunity for questions from the audience. If you have questions, if you wouldn't mind, just come down to the mic, and because we have to get it on the microphone. But is there anybody who'd like to ask a question of our panelists? Okay, come on down. And you can ask it to an individual person or the whole group, however you'd like to do it.
To the whole group, but you don't all have to answer. Just my question is two parts. Your classmates from 2016, what piece of advice would you have for them in their senior year? And then your classmates that you won't know, they're coming for the class of 2019 as freshmen, what would you say to them?
To the class of 2016, one thing I would say is apply early decision, because that was like one of the greatest choices I ever made. Because like I applied early decision too, so by January 30th, like I knew where I was going to school, and then I could just focus on enjoying my last semester of high school. And I know it's not for everybody, and I never thought I would apply early decision because I've always been like an indecisive person. But if you really fall in love with a place, don't be afraid to make that commitment, because it'll be a lot less stressful. You'll feel so good when all of your friends are like, oh my God, I don't know where I'm going to go, and like blah, 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 and everyone will be jealous of you because you already know where you're going. And I felt bad for everybody, but I was like glad that I did not have that stress. I mean, I had the stress of applying early decision, but that was, I don't know, it just made, I think, everything a lot easier for me. And to the class of 2019, I guess really appreciate what you're coming into. Like, I think it's easy to forget because it's like, oh, school, I don't want to go to school today. Like, high school sucks, whatever. But I think it's easy to forget what a great place and what a great school we all have the opportunity to go to here. Like, just be really thankful that you're getting the teachers and the class options and, like, the freedom that you're getting at Oyster River. And just make sure you appreciate that, because it'll make you a happier person during high school.
Yeah, like going back to appreciating what you have. We moved here because I used to live right outside DC, and my dad retired from the military. And my parents like looked all over. We knew we wanted to live in New Hampshire, but like the academics and sort of like the great reputation Oyster River had like 4 years ago really drew us here. And like now all I've seen is improvements. So just like that is fantastic that something that great 4 years ago could just like keep continuing to improve, and just you're very lucky to be here. And for the next year's class, I would say definitely prepare yourself for an emotional roller coaster. Like March and April was just really a bad experience for me. I was like crying one day, and then I would get an award the other day, and then I'd get a rejection letter the next day. And it's really important to know like who your friends are, and just so like you can come to them, like maybe a good teacher, to have somebody to help you like lead, because they've also had students who've been on the same roller coaster you've been on. So that's sort of advice I would give you guys.
What I'd say to the class coming in as seniors for next year, so 2016, I would say slow it down. I think that I am and was super excited to go to college and, you know, move on, you know, be able to focus on really, really what you want to do, because that's a big thing. Oyster was able to do that somewhat, but I mean, going to a place where, oh my gosh, all your classes are exactly what you want to do, what's better than that? But coming in so close to graduation now, it is incredible to think that, sit back and realize this class that you've grown with for, 12 grade levels now, has had just such an impact on your life. Like, you'll never be in a place with all these people ever again. And you've gone through way too much with these people not to forget them, and to be able to just try to make every moment last with everyone, because it really, really hits that it is so close to the end. And oh man, it's crazy. And then for the class of 2019, going off what people have already said, just really appreciate what you're coming into. I was talking with a bunch of people the other day actually about this, and I think that every single person in our class of 2015, every single person did not realize to what extent the teachers and the environment here has impacted us until at least their sophomore year. I think that everyone may have looked over at least one thing during their freshman year that you could look back and say, wow, we're so lucky to have had that as our freshman year experience. So I think that everyone just needs to really, really appreciate the people, the upperclassmen, the teachers, administration, everything, because it's just, we are put in such an incredible place coming to Oyster River as freshmen. Then I don't think we realize that till we're out of freshman year.
Right. Okay. So to the rising seniors, I'd say that the college admissions process is an emotional roller coaster. It's crazy. It's stressful, and exciting. But I would say apply early. That was the best thing that I ever did, because your motivation senior year leaves very quickly. And I got it all done in November, and I was all set. So that was great. I think also, kind of contrary to Sophie, I think one of the best things I did was not totally fall in love with this school, because I had a lot of reach schools, and I knew that, you know, I wasn't necessarily going to get into any of them. So I just kind of kept an emotional distance from all of them, and was able to, once I figured out where I was going to go, to get really excited about it no matter what. And not like mourn after the schools that I didn't get into. So that was great. And to incoming freshmen, I'd say really appreciate everything you have. It goes by a lot quicker than you think it will. Like, it is just gone. We've got, like 32 days left, and then it's going to be over. So it goes by really quickly. Appreciate every single day of it. And take advantage of all the opportunities you have, because you may think you have all this time to do everything, but before you know it, it's gone. So, yeah.
So, contrary to what you guys have all been saying, what I'm just going to say is, don't worry if you don't apply early decision, early action, whatever, because I didn't really think about what colleges I wanted to go to until, like, I don't know, 2 weeks before the applications were due. I hadn't like written my essay or anything, which was a little bit stressful, but I kind of went the no stress route. So I was kind of like, wherever I end up, and I'm gonna be okay, and everything is really gonna be all right. So I kind of realized that like very, very late. My mom's like pulling her hair out, but whatever. So that's just one thing. Like, if you know where you want to go. And apply and prepare and do whatever. But if you don't, you don't. And that's great. And I am just in love with where I'm headed. And I don't think I could be in a better place for myself. Something else that I want to say for the class of 2019, get involved with sports. Because first of all, grades. You know, you need sports to keep your grades up, because you need time management and stuff like that. Also, the sort of the feeling of being on a team is just so incredibly important, and it has been to me. I'm not just saying this because we need new throwers for next year, because we're not going to have any. But that's actually kind of part of this. I just think that like sports have been like a really important thing for me. Also, like being a senior, I have become friends with so many freshmen, which like I hope they look up to me. I don't know, maybe not. But I just really love, you know, sort of like being in a community where it's like, oh yeah, I have friends, and we're not all that one group of cliquey seniors. Like, I'm branching out. I'm becoming friends with everyone, and I absolutely love it, and I hope they do too.
To the class of 2016, I would like to say that you should always follow your dreams, but you should also keep reality close to you, because sometimes, you know, things do not unfold in the way they do. It'd still be okay, you know, but, you know, I mean, you cannot let yourself be blinded by the idea that this will happen. I feel very fortunate and incredibly blessed to be going to the school that I am. It's incredibly expensive. It's $65,000 a year. But I made the decision. I said I'm going because this is what I've wanted for 5 years. You know, I mean, you have to be persistent. You have to be a leader, be bold, be amazing, and be brave. But you have to keep that. You have to keep your feet grounded as well. To the incoming freshmen, I would like to say that you should not allow yourself to be blinded by the stress over grades to the importance of experience and knowledge. And I have recently discovered this idea myself. Oftentimes, I see friends and I feel it myself thinking, oh my God, what if I don't get this grade? What is going to happen to my GPA? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But you have to remember the experience that you're learning from this. Are you learning something purely because of a grade, or are you learning something because you want that self-improvement, or because this will change you, this will impact you? You have, you know, I mean, it's important to be prepared for sure, and a grade can reflect your effort, but don't let that just be your sole goal. And you know, as others have said, just enjoy your time. You know, 4 years goes by really fast.
Any other comments on that question? Okay, and I'm going to, I want to just thank the panel. You guys have been fantastic, and it's just been wonderful listening to where you're headed and so forth. So I'd like to have a round of applause for our panel. I know particularly all of you are seniors, and you probably could have found a lot of things to do on a Monday night, and coming here to spend it with us, I do appreciate that. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the PTO, and in particular Regina Smith-Adesano, for organizing this event so that we could once again hear from our outgoing seniors. I mean, this has really become a traditional thing, and it's great to kind of hear what you guys are up to. And once again, thank you everybody, and good luck in your post-Oyster River High School lives. Cut.